Hello friends! This time we greet you from atop of a sand dune in a desert of Qatar. This country is known to be one of the richest and on some accounts even the most beautiful place on our planet. Go number 7! Number 7!
In this video we are going to take you on a tour around the country and show you the capital Doha, but also some of the less visited places that are far from the city lights.
And by the end of it, you will have a much better understanding of Qatar. But there is a high chance that after seeing this, you never want to visit this place yourself.
What?
Our journey in Qatar started at the early hours of the day. Just across this little bay, this little body of water, is Qatar. We're still in Saudi at the moment, but we are gonna start driving in about 2 minutes.
Let's go to Qatar!
The border procedures took a little over an hour.
Welcome to Qatar, friends!
The border was easy, visa on arrival, and for the first day, our plan was quite straightforward. We're not going to Doha, that's what I'm trying to say. We're trying to see the nature and the rest of the country first, and then we're gonna finish in Doha. Our first stop was described as very unique natural place by a travel blog we found on Google. It smells horrible! It was a freaking sewage plant.
I'm not sure where you wanted to bring us, but whatever it was, it's not here. It's definitely not here.
Al Karana bird watching spot. I'm pretty sure that the person who wrote that blog had never been here. Okay, I can kind of get it. If your whole country is desert, then you have this a little bit of reeds and a little bit of water plants. It might be special, but it's clean poop water, it doesn't smell good, and moral of the story, just don't trust everything you read online. We're gonna leave now. Yep, here comes another load. While heading towards our next destination, we noticed that most of Qatar's countryside was covered with industry. We've been driving a little over an hour now in Qatar, and it's pretty much all the same. Endless row of trucks, factories. This place has big oil and enormous gas reserves. A shocking 70% of Qatar's economy relies on this revenue. Every few kilometers there's a huge sign that you can't take photos, you can't take videos. Everything that has to do with oil and gas, turn off your camera straight away. Getting to our next stop turned out to be a fair bit harder than we anticipated. Being a peninsula, this country has hundreds of kilometers of coastline. But at least on the eastern side, many beaches are privately owned. We're trying to find an access to the beach, but it's all kind of fenced off, making them only accessible for the beach club members. But although it might take some effort to find a place, let's go and see. Then it's totally worth it. The shoreline here is stunning. Of course, when you're traveling here, you should again know that beach culture here is a little different. As a deeply Islamic country, Qatar does not allow bikini on the beach. But locals come to the beach mostly to barbecue, to have family time. Only 100 meters walking from the sea. We found ourselves what is probably the best known landform of this country. God, I love desert. It's one thing you just don't have in Europe, and every time I get out in the sand, sweating my ass off, I'm having fun. And being here also gave us the first taste of modern Qatari culture. So what we just saw is called dune bashing, and yeah, it's one of the most popular pastimes amongst people who live in Qatar. Like one Qatari said himself,
off-roading is a wonderful pastime because obviously we're all rich and have loads of money, so we just buy expensive toys. No, but yeah, some of that is true.
And yeah, just adrenaline-filled route through the sand. Next to fossil fuels, deserts are really something that are not hard to find in this country. Some of them are used as art displays. Public art display called West to East, or if you're on the other side and look this way, it's East to West.
So there are 4 iron pillars in the middle of the desert near Sigrid, and they go 1 kilometer that way.
And yes, those things are freaking huge. Liisu and Freya for comparison. And other deserts hide in them true natural wonders. I really hope to see those guys. I really want to see them. I'm sure you have seen this animal before. Probably on one of those things. Arabian oryx is the national animal of Qatar. Just look at those horns, the colors. And due to the massive conservation efforts, once again, this beautiful beast can be seen roaming the deserts freely. But more than just the desert, we even got to see the famous camel racing track. The air is filled with the aroma of fresh manure. And I think we're very near to the place we have to be. Every Friday throughout the winter season, races take place here. Or yeah, almost every Friday. For some reason, the day we visited, they were cancelled. Okay, those camels are super fast. We found some locals who are training their young ones. We are not catching up. They're going like 60 kilometers an hour, maybe more. But still we tried our best to create the right atmosphere. Go number 7, number 7, go number 7, number 7. Honestly, if we leave out the small little accident in the beginning,
I'm sorry, why are we here?
then our first day in a country had been incredible. It was clean, spacious, and if you're able to look past the industries, also quite beautiful. But as our next stop proved, there was a catch. Most of what we had seen so far could almost be called an illusion. Hello, salam. How much is the ticket?
It's free.
It's free.
Yeah, are you residents or are you visitors?
Visitors, tourists.
Perfect, it's free.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Al Subara Fort. This castle was like a portal to Qatari history. It talked about pearl diving.
So pearling used to be the most important industry before oil, but it's like very hard work because you go into the sea, you catch the oyster, and only 1 out of 5,000 actually had a pearl inside.
And even demonstrated how agriculture was made possible in such harsh conditions. Pigeons' nests, absolutely full of poop. But here's the thing. In the desert climate, this pigeon poop from those holes is one of the best fertilizers you can get. So that's why they're all the way through as holes. That birds can make a nest there and you can get fertilizer plus a good airflow. Just look at that. Poop. There is 3 abandoned villages next to the castle. Al Jumail, abandoned village. And as we walked the empty streets, it felt a little strange. It's a little bit eerie feeling being here, seeing just a town left behind. And if you're wondering why this town was abandoned, then the answer is quite simple. You see, locals of this land have a saying: Doha is Qatar. 99% of the people who live here live in Doha, the capital city. Meaning that most of what we had seen was like an illusion from the past. A past where most of the locals were pearlers and fishermen and camel herders. And it's almost like a symbol that such pearling towns and fishing towns don't have a role anymore in such a urban and modern country like Qatar. And if you want to understand modern Qatari culture and people, there's no way around it. You need to see the capital. we set our camp next to a beautiful mangrove forest to be ready and rested for the city the next day. And those lights back there behind Liisu. This is Doha. It's gonna get crazy tomorrow. There's no denying it. Coming from a country with a population of only 1 million ourselves, neither me or Liisu are huge fans of big cities. And we were quite hesitant to see if Doha really was going to be as special as many others say. Well, but as we got closer, our mouths dropped. This place looked stunning.
Jesus, this place looks luxurious.
Beautiful skyline, unique architecture, and perhaps most importantly, it felt so clean that if I dropped my ice cream on the sidewalk, I would not even hesitate to pick it up and keep eating. As we began our tour around the city, the place did not cease to amaze us. Everywhere we go, there's so much infrastructure for kids, like places to climb, places to jump. We lacked words as we saw young kids on the streets without their parents. I'm not sure if the signs are working or if there's something bigger at play here, but for many years Qatar has been crowned the safest country in the world. And that's pretty freaking cool. It was also interesting to see that although the lifestyle of locals has drastically changed in the last 50 years, then many of the historic symbols, like the dhow boats and pearl diving, could still be seen represented when just walking around the streets. And of course, there is just no way around the parks. There's really no denying it, like the green spaces and parks in Doha are absolutely stunning. Like, they smell good, they're always kept clean, it's a pleasure being here. Greenery can be found all around Doha. It's such a crazy contrast compared to the desert surrounding the city. Yes, of course, it takes the work of tens of thousands of landscapers and hundreds of thousands of small black sprinklers to really keep it that way. Constant irrigation. But undoubtedly, the place is pretty. This park is so green. It even smells differently. Not the smell of the city anymore, but just like fresh, like nature, like trees. And after just a few hours on the streets, I started to understand why so many expats decide to work here. The place is clean, safe, and offers very high salaries. Qatari nationals make up only about 10% of the whole population of the country. There's about 300,000 Qatari, and altogether there's around 3 million people living here. It even has whole compounds for foreigners, where they don't have to worry about the Islamic rules, like modest dress code, for example. Inside those compounds here, we see women working out in their shorts and like bras, kids going out alone on their bikes. Yet around the same time, we started noticing small things that maybe are not quite as perfect as they first seemed. Such a beautiful park again. Our car should be on the other side over there. It has a walkway, disabled access, a stairs going up to a fence. Okay, we're gonna second try, same park. Stairs, fence. Our car is over there, by the way. Third one. We got stairs going out and a fence. If anyone from Qatar is watching, did you guys just forget to order the gates? Like you ordered fences but forgot about the gates. Hooray! We've made it to the end of the fence. One continuous fence. We've wasted 15 minutes probably to just walk around it. The pathways, footpaths, they're very lovely. They are made of stone, they are separated from from the highway, but it feels a little that all the pedestrian ways are done by somebody who has never walked on the side of the road by themselves. Because yeah, there's no crossings over the highways. It's they're pretty, but not super functional.
Not super functional.
The same could be said about public facilities. Just a tiny bit annoying. I think it's like the third public toilet that's closed that I've checked today. 7 blocks of 3 toilets on the beach. 21 toilets altogether. None of them is open. Pleasures of coming to a public beach. And more, such things kept on piling up.
We have made it to the famous souk Waqif.
And souk in Arabic is like a market. A lot of stores, a lot of handcrafts. We're gonna go and have a look. The market building is really beautiful. I like the architecture. I also love how it keeps the cold inside. It was beautiful, vibrant, yet at the same time, there was nothing authentic or local about the whole place. It bugs me a little bit that we haven't seen too much local produce. A little copper statue is from 50 to 100 euros. To compare it with like Turkish bazaars, similar things are 3 times cheaper and a little bit better quality. They even have like the signs on there, made in India, made in Turkey. Oh, something local, I think.
No, it's made in Syria.
The market was full of cheap, imported items, priced at times higher compared to the neighboring countries. Okay, I might have lied. There was one thing sold here that was local. I have never seen such a thing in my life before. Falcon keeping and hunting with them used to be a huge part of Qatar's past. So for locals, falcon is a hunting animal. They take them out to the desert and it was part of the skills it took to survive in the desert. Today, it's a huge business. May I ask, what is the price of a full-grown falcon? 20,000. Some call it a hobby, and for many, it's a status symbol. We are truly grateful to have seen and heard the local side of this custom. They told us that 100 years ago, almost every family had one to actually catch food from the desert. It was means of survival. That's why it's such an important thing. Because looking at this market from another perspective, it seems a little hypocritical. You see, in the year 2001, Qatar joined the CITES Convention, which strictly bans international trading of falcons. But well, I guess rules just don't matter that much if you have enough money. Clearly, there was 2 different sides to this city, ranging from beautiful and luxurious to slightly dysfunctional and hypocritical. Pedestrian sidewalk, a lot of grass where you can't step. Pedestrian crossing.
But why would you walk? You have a car? Are you poor that you don't have a car?
But just as we were about to discover some of the most famous areas in the city, we noticed that there was a third, totally different side, which should probably be called imitational. So this part of the mall is built so that it would feel like you're in Venice. You got canals, gondolas, and if before I felt like I was in Italy, then now I would say that I feel like I'm in France. Just the architecture all around Doha. Elements from world-famous cities could be found. So next to us is pretty much the Colosseum. And I couldn't help but to compare those places to the so-called originals. It's kind of cool in a way, but at the same time, if I feel like I'm in Italy, then I would like to have a glass of red wine with my meal. Or if I feel that I'm in Paris, then I would love to be able to hold the hand of my partner, of my loved one. It felt a little strange. You're taking away the secret ingredient Paris is not about the architecture, it's about the feel. Same goes with Venice. It's not about the canals and gondolas, it's about the food and the whole experience you get over there. Honestly, there was nothing glamorous about walking on a street that looks like Paris. On the contrary, it actually made us feel like the country was having an identity crisis, trying to imitate others, like a teenager desperately hoping to fit in. It's hard to understand why a country with its own culture and history would try to hide its unique style. So yes, there was clearly mixed feelings about this place. But still, we wanted to finish our time in Qatar with something very special. Over the last few years, this country has gained a lot of fame by hosting international events. Everybody knows about the World Cup. Maybe you've even heard about the Asian Cup that's soon gonna happen here. And well, we were lucky to be here while something big was happening. Alrighty, we have now made it to the expo and I'm really excited. Before coming to this country, for weeks we were looking up things to do here, and this expo is themed let's make the deserts greener, or greener deserts, better environment. So we're hoping to see a lot of interesting information today. The exhibition area was huge and gorgeous. Many kilometers long park, full of playgrounds and footpaths. There is a lot of stuff for your kids. Like if you come here with kids, there's bouncy castles and ice cream sellers everywhere. But once we started visiting the tents actually connected to the expo, save the corals, shall we? We were a little baffled. This place is called Save the Corals. In there we saw 3 aquariums, not a single piece of information, nothing about saving the corals, about the problems. Endless commercials. Some Kuwaiti fertilizers. You want to green a desert? Buy a Lexus. And in rare instances, some very basic information. So I kind of get the feeling that the information that we're getting from here is on 3rd grade level. Like you've just started to learn nature sciences and yeah, it's correct. Water is needed for plants. The next information stand. We need air. Air is great for a better future. We need cleaner air. How? Nobody says. Just we need cleaner air. Yet at the same time, maybe I was the problem. Just what kind of environmental education was I hoping to get from a country that is undoubtedly the biggest polluter in a world per capita? A place that thinks that this kind of behavior is totally rational and okay. Year round, this street is cooled with air-conditioned units. It's a strange concept for me to grasp, that you actually are blowing cold air onto a street that's open, but that's what's done here. I'm just not sure if this is the right example world's richest country should show the rest of us. So in conclusion, I totally understand why expats want to live in Qatar. But for a tourist or a traveler, sadly, this place was lacking soul and authenticity. Qatar was a perfect example of how it takes more than just money to make a unique and interesting country. And if you don't wish to spend your holiday looking at fancy buildings, then I'm pretty sure that Qatar is the most beautiful country that you never want to visit.